Hey everybody, welcome back to D&M Motorsports. What we're taking a look at today is a car that's probably best described as surreal. This is a 2005 Maybach 62. In 1909, a German businessman by the name of Wilhelm Maybach, with the help of his son, established Maybach Motorenbau. Initially, their business built engines for the famed Zeppelin airships of the early 20th century. With a reputation for setting benchmark quality standards, in 1919, the first Maybach passenger car was created. Over the next 26 years, roughly 1,800 Maybach vehicles were produced, creating a premium brand characterized by extreme exclusivity. In 2003, the Maybach brand hit the market, ready to redefine luxury automotive standards. Unveiled in both 57 and 62 models, the Maybach is known as one of the most opulent and extravagant cars ever created. Around the world, the Maybach is known as a symbol of royalty, wealth, prominence, and sophistication. This car here is known as the 62 model, aptly named so because it clears 6.2 meters in length. The extra length over the 57 model is entirely dedicated to the rear seat, making the Maybach 62 the closest experience to a road-going private jet. The exterior is decadently understated. At first glance, you might not recognize its exclusivity, but a second glance confirms the presence of a Maybach. This 62 is tastefully finished in a subtle Caspian black over Ayers rock red two-tone exterior. Tech highlights include 19-inch polished wheels, xenon HID headlamps, and front and rear park distance control. Inside, only the finest materials make it to the cabin. The leather is extremely thick and supple, and the wood is finely polished and abundant to say the least. There's extensive suede, further enhancing the luxurious ambience of this world-class motor car. Under the hood of the Maybach, as you'd expect of large displacement, is quite an engine. This is a 5.5-liter V12 engine, and it's twin turbocharged. This car puts out 543 horsepower, and get this, 664 foot-pounds of torque. That's an insane amount of power from a car that obviously is not the smallest. On the highway, this is one of those cars that when you hit it at 60 miles an hour, it puts you in your seat so far back, way more than you'd ever expect. It almost seems as if a 12-cylinder would be overkill for a car that more than likely is going to be chauffeur-driven most of the time, but from the rear passenger's perspective, you cannot duplicate the smoothness you get with a 12-cylinder. The power delivery, but the transmission doesn't have to downshift that much, to get that extra power. Obviously, if you really want to hustle, this thing will really move out. But it's that level of smoothness that gives a characteristic car like this that genuine feel of refinement. That's why a 12-cylinder is necessary. As the dimensions of the Maybach continue, obviously it's a large car, which of a large vehicle, you would imagine, it more than likely has a large trunk. And it does. It is stunning back here, but as you can see, everything's decked out to Maybach trim. You got a chrome piece here as well as the piece that it meets actually down here, and then leather-covered access areas. And then just to close this, getting it is simple. You do have keyless go, which is just a keyless entry and ignition system, but jumping in here, these huge, beautiful, wonderful leather seats obviously are very accommodating. You do step into this car. Because of its size, it's really not that low to the ground. You do have a power tilt and telescope steering wheel here, but it is a heated wood wheel, which feels fantastic, but everything in here is like the most decadent form of decoration you could ever put in a car. Hand-stitched premium leather all the way across the dashboard. All this wood, if you look at it in detail, just the swirl and detail of the grain of the wood kind of just gives you more of the idea of what this car is all about. Heated and ventilated dual power front seats with 5-position memory. Don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And it's an extremely powerful and extremely comfortable car from behind the wheel. You'll see what I mean. So by now, obviously, we've demonstrated that this is an unbelievable car to ride and be driven in, but it's really a heck of a driver's car as well. There's a comfort and sport mode that changes the throttle mapping, the shift pattern for the transmission, and also the suspension. It definitely is in a much softer mode right now on comfort. Now, if you go to sport mode, it's going to stiffen it a little bit, but you also have the aromatic suspension that now is on the stiffest version, and it rides remarkably harder. A 12-cylinder probably could be criticized as almost extravagance in this car, meaning just being too, you don't necessarily need it because the car doesn't need 12 cylinders of acceleration for performance measures, but you really cannot match the smoothness of the power delivery you get from a 12-cylinder engine. You can't hear the turbochargers in this. It's 543 horsepower, which is an immense amount of power, but the torque on it just seems limitless.
You know, if I had a personal driver that did drive me around in this car, you've got heated seats, ventilated seats up here. 5 memory settings for the seats up here, which is crazy. Compartments galore. You do have a power override for the shades in the back, so your driver can control your shades if he so chooses. You've got 2 telephones in this car, one of which pops out of the dashboard. This is suede. Suede is like kind of the mid-level surrounding here, and then hand-stitched leather, but like the thickest leather I've ever seen on the top of a dashboard. Front and rear park distance control, which you'd expect with a car this size. But really what you wouldn't expect with a car this size is the way it does drive. It is pretty athletic. It's extremely long, obviously. Just building speed, you can't even tell I'm accelerating if you're just watching. There's no noise to it. There's no sound. There's no drama. There's just Maybach solidity and comfort and overall beauty. I mean, it's a stunning car to see in person. It really makes an incredible impact right when you see it. Just parked on the side of the road, it looks amazing.
You have the ultimate in luxury accommodations, as the Maybach 62's distinct pleasure is comforting the rear occupants. There are 2 heated and ventilated, multi-contour rear seats with a pulse massage function, but what really makes these truly spectacular is that they fully recline, even offering a shelf to cradle your feet. The adjustments are seemingly limitless, and once inside, in the ideal position, you have amenities galore to explore, beginning with the rear ambience. This 62 is equipped with a full set of rear curtains, all power retractable with the touch of a button. A dedicated 4-zone climate control effectively regulates each person's environment. And overhead is an optional panoramic sunroof. At $14,800, it is no small option, but you have the choice of replicating daylight at night to illuminate the rear cabin. Plus, the translucency is electronically controlled, changing from a panoramic view outside to a solid panel of variable light with the push of a button. It's very cool to see in person. The console holds a decently sized refrigerator with built-in organizer, large enough to hold a couple of champagne bottles. Next to the refrigerator are fold-out wood picnic tables, which easily collapse back into the center. Above the center storage compartment is a 6-disc CD changer, and above that is a DVD player and a pair of RCA-style component inputs that connect to the pair of TV screens on the seatbacks of the front seats. Once they turn on, the screen power extends from the rear seats, where you can take advantage of the programming the Maybach provides. Audio is provided by Bose's Surround Everywhere DSP system that provides a stellar auditory experience, no matter where you are in the car. Should you have some wine or champagne in the fridge, there's a pair of polished Maybach flutes, along with a Maybach spec corkscrew opener so that you can enjoy your beverages. Since the luxury theme is continually engineered into this car, the rear also includes a champagne or wine bottle holder and fitted placeholders that clamp the flutes into place when underway. Simple and convenient.
Well, we're about to head out as I'm being gentlemanly chauffeured here in this beautiful Maybach 62, and I think I'm trying to figure what the best adjective is to describe this car, and I think the one I've come up with so far is opulent. The attention to detail, the craftsmanship, the build quality, the materials, just the experience of being behind the wheel or behind the, or I guess the back seat of the car. It just feels majestic. It feels imperial. But it's a 12-cylinder car. I mean, listen how quiet this is. It's library smooth. We're going to accelerate onto a highway road here, and as we do it, it's just there's nothing. It's so smooth. You don't hear anything. You don't feel anything. So I guess if I'm on my way home, I want to get comfy. I think I'm going to go ahead and just stretch my legs out. Oh, that's nice. There we go. I got my pillow all fixed. Got a active comfort seat over here too, so I can tighten the bolsters. I can change the lumbar setting. But with all these active comfort settings, once I get that seat right, all I have to do is hit the pulse button over here, and it gives me a little massage. It's pretty cool. I don't have any champagne, but if I did, I could enjoy it in these beautiful, I would say, polished brass champagne flutes that have coordinating locking cup holders that actually clamp them down as you put them back on. But if you ever want a little bit of privacy, here's what's cool. I'm going to pop this open, where I also have the second phone. Oh, thank you, Motorola. I also have the remote for the twin TVs and all the other telephone. Actually, wow, yeah, you can use your phone through the remote control too. How cool. But let's go privacy-wise here. I'm going to close these shades. You actually have cloth-style curtains. They're almost like drapery-style curtains back here. Now, it closes out the outside world, but what's really cool, too, is that you've got a optional roof panel up on top of you here. It's a $14,000 option. You also can change it from clear to a non-translucent surface, but it pours so much light in. It's a lot of natural ambient lighting too. And you can't really see the roof from the outside of the car, so just another cool thing. If I wanted a beverage, all I've really got to do is go right back down here into the refrigerator. If for any reason I want to work on my laptop or maybe start writing my memoirs, I could actually pop out this table here. And it really is like, you know, this reminds me of what it's like when I fly in my Gulfstream 5. You know, this is the kind of luxury and elegance I get when I'm there. I've also got a way to keep an eye on Dangerous Dave's driving. I've got a speedometer up here that also shows me the analog clock and temperature. It's extremely comfortable, it's smooth, it's quiet, I mean, we're moving here. And look at, the world doesn't know who's in here. For all they know, I might be Neil Diamond, I might be Chris Rock. But they don't know. They just don't know.
If you're in the market, here's a few things to consider. 1. With the exception of a few minor updates, the brand new Maybach is nearly identical to this car. 2. This car is in stunning condition, it's been well loved, and all systems work as new. 3. You can save half from new, and no one would ever know. If you have the means, consider the car. Maybach's passion for opulence shows in every detail of this car, reminding you of its importance and extreme care for comfort of its occupants. It's a shockingly rewarding drive, but the backseat experience is rivaled by no other factory-assembled automobile anywhere. For more information on this Maybach 62, please take a close look on our website. You'll find us online at dmautosales.com.